We recently started learning about multi-threading, how you can create threads, why you need to join threads, and also if you're using shared data, like you've got this counter variable, you need to create a mutex that you can lock and unlock such that the threads don't have a data race. Of course, there are going to be some issues when you're using mutexes, and the first issue to go over is a lock leak. So what is a lock leak? A lock leak is when you forget to unlock the mutex. Let's just say in thread 1, you're running the increment function and then you lock the mutex. Well, you forgot to unlock it for some reason, and thread 2 will not be able to get into this function because it's going to be waiting for this lock, and thread 1 has never unlocked it. And by the way, you don't even need to have 2 threads to have a lock leak. You can have a lock leak with just 1 thread. The same thread, T1, is actually going to lock itself. And I could prove this by just running this code real quick. So I've done make and ran the program, and yeah, the counter stopped at 1 even though I'm just running with 1 thread. And of course, if I were to unlock this and just have 1 thread, we should see that the result is 10,000. And I've just remade the program, and you can see here that the result is correctly set to 10,000. A lock leak is basically when you forget to unlock a lock that you've just locked. So what you really want to do is to create a lock guard. In a simple function like this, you might think to yourself, well, of course I would never forget to unlock the lock because if I lock it, I have to unlock it, right? Well, that's not always the case because sometimes it actually gets difficult or tricky to remember to unlock something. Maybe you have some sort of logic that says return early. In that situation, you obviously need to remember to unlock like this. In these cases, you might think that you're smart enough to figure this out, but let's be real, guys, we're not going to be able to, and there are going to be situations where it's not as simple as returning early. There might be code where, let's just say you're reading a file and that throws some sort of error. Then you might have to do some sort of try catch block to catch the error, and then you're going to have to do some sort of mutex unlock like this. And basically the code can get really complicated really quickly, and there is a way to prevent this using the lock guard. Using a lock guard is very simple. You just say std lock guard, and then you pass in mutex lock mtx like this, and it does exactly what you expect. And yeah, there you go, you get the correct result of 20,000. And this is probably the most useful and correct way to write mutex locks, because oftentimes you don't want to be the person responsible for unlocking it. And what this lock guard does is it uses the principle of RAII. That's the very complicated and convoluted way of saying that when this mutex is going out of scope, the destructor is going to call mutex.unlock automatically. So basically, whether the mutex goes out of scope inside of this for loop, or whether there is a error that is being thrown, or whether there's an early return inside of this function, whatever the case is, as it's going out of scope, the destructor is going to call the unlock function. So that's going to solve all the problems that you have with having this unlock. By the way, this is pretty much the same as using JThreads, because these threads also do the same thing where it's going to automatically join at the end of main, so that you don't have to be the person remembering to press .join like you do in threads here. So essentially, the lock guard is a mechanism that does the same thing that JThread does, except the lock guard was introduced in C++11 along with the thread and mutex, whereas JThread was introduced a couple years later, I believe, in C++20. I do wonder why they decided to implement JThread like this and not create some sort of, I don't know, thread guard or something like that, but I don't know the reasons behind that. So anyway, point is, whenever you're using a mutex, just remember that you have to unlock it properly. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't think you should trust me to do that. So we should let the compiler handle the unlocking of the mutex, especially when it's so easy to set that up. So let the compiler unlock as soon as this lock guard goes out of scope. And yeah, that's all I want to talk about in this video. If you made it this far, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more random C++ deep dives just like this. And if you want to sponsor the channel, just send me an email. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.